Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Gloria and today we'll be talking about the dangers of perfectionism as a high achieving person. Now I know a lot of you viewers are high achieving people and are prone to these, and I have made the same mistake, so I can speak from experience, even in my legal practice, mistakes that have cost thousands. So in the video we'll be talking about how perfectionism stems from unworthiness. Okay, and we're also going to talk about ways in which perfectionism is affecting your performance and costing you a lot as a high achieving person. And then I'm also going to make a special announcement for you high achieving people out there. And finally, I will share with you the one thing that you can change today, the one phrase that will change the game for you with regards to perfectionism. Okay, I'm going to give you the solution to this perfectionism problem. And then finally, for the people who are still watching, they will get my special tip. There's always a special tip segment, and I will share with you the special tip that is gonna change your life. So let's begin. Perfectionism is this tendency to want to do things perfectly, okay? And for other people it manifests in the form of self-sabotage. Other people it manifests in this form of refusing to do that which they need to do because they want to do it perfectly, so they never begin. For other people it manifests itself as people pleasing, to get everybody to like you and to value you. And for other people it manifests itself as this pervasive feeling of I am not enough. Okay, so those are the people we're talking to, because most of the people in this channel, okay, they are high achieving people, right? So you guys have a problem because you've already gotten yourself out of that I can't do this phrase. No, you get things done, you get your studying done, you've gotten your productivity done, you get things done by fire or force, easily or hard, you're gonna get those things done. Okay, so my job is to make it easy for you, and that's by identifying why it is hard, why you're doing it so hard, why things that should be easy appear hard. Because in this channel it gets to be easy, we get to do life easily, we get to be productive easily, we get to achieve a lot easily. High achievers very easily, right? How does perfectionism stem from this feeling of unworthiness? Well, if you dig deep and find out why are you trying to be perfect, if you're already doing your work, why do you feel this imposter syndrome, this fear of failure? Why is it that you're trying to be perfect? It's because you want people to value you, right? You feel that if you do a job perfectly, if you make no mistakes, then people will be more accepting to you and they will see your value, right? Am I right? Where perfectionism stems from unworthiness, the simple solution is to realize that you are worthy, okay? You don't need to do anything or to prove anything to feel worthy. You know why? Because no matter how much you achieve, and you will quote me on this in the comments, no matter how much you achieve as a high achieving person, whether I get my degree, whether I become a lawyer, whether I do this or that, it doesn't matter. But the feeling of imposter syndrome of I can't do this will always be there if you do not believe you are worthy, if you do not believe you are enough. If you rest and you're assured and you believe that you're enough and worthy regardless, then if something happens and maybe you fail at a task and you make a mistake, you don't wallow in self-pity and like, oh my gosh, you see, I'm not worthy. Instead, you'll believe that, okay, I just made one tiny little mistake, let's recalibrate. This is not a failure, this is a lesson, right? You see the difference. So doing our inner work and finding out what we actually believe about ourselves, why this feeling of imposter syndrome is so much in our lives, where we're always trying to prove ourselves to other people, can help a great deal with perfectionism. And that comes down to my announcement, okay? My announcement is that for the last time that my affirmation journal is up for sale, for the last time at this amount, okay? The price is gonna go significantly higher. I say about 5 times higher, because this journal has the ability to change your life. And I have spent more money on makeup, on eating out, than on something that was willing to change my life. I don't think so, right? So I'm going to raise the price by 5 times by the next week. So this is a call to you, my lovely viewers. If you want to implement this, if you are a high achieving person, but you've been achieving it hard, you've been achieving it kicking and screaming under chronic stress, you've been achieving it and not having the neural pathways to even enjoy what you've achieved, if this is you, then you can click on the link in the description and go and get that affirmation journal and work on it. After this 100 days, if you've done it, then you're going to take yourself to a different space. You're going to take yourself to a different place. This is an invaluable tool. That's why I don't want to give it away for free, girl. I'm giving my viewers this chance to get it for themselves before the end of today, Friday, 7th of July, 7/7. The next part of the video was how this perfectionism is affecting your performance, your effectiveness. It's preventing you from getting into a flow state. You're always stressed and burnt out. Well, this is because you are in survival mode. As a high achieving person, right? As a person who's done anything, you've achieved any of your goals, right? You're high achieving, right? You know the pervasive feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get this wrong. Oh my gosh, I have to confirm it. Oh my gosh, I'm not sure that I'm doing the correct thing, but I'll do it anyway. You know that feeling, right? You're in survival mode coupled with the fear of failure, right? Survival mode just means that it's like you're being chased by a tiger, right? And you're always perpetually in this state. There are two types of stress, okay? There's eustress, the good stress, where it motivates you to do something. And then there's distress, where you're always in a perpetual state of stress. We were designed to have these mechanisms to help us, because back when we were in the jungle and there's a lion coming after you, of course you need to get stressed and get your adrenaline moving and run. But these days, where we're safe, you're in your house, you should not be in this state. When you're in the office, you should not be in this state, but a lot of us are. Why? Because we want to do things perfectly, because we fear failure. So even if you're doing a task, you're worried about whether you're doing it correctly. That is the issue, okay? It's affecting you. If you're in a state of chronic stress, it's affecting your body, it's affecting your hormones, it's affecting your effectiveness. And at the end of the day, you're going to end up burning out. You're going to end up not being as effective as you could be. And like me, who is, who knows how to ride the wave, who knows their seasons, who knows how to use stress, who knows when to relax. I also know when the point at which I need to do things and when I don't need to do things, using various systems. Okay, so how do we combat this? How did I combat this state of perpetual stress and this survival mode and feeling like there's always something hanging over your head? The first thing is you're going to have to set systems. Always have your systems so that you can fall back on something. If you're worried about making a typo in your paper or in your work that you're going to submit to your boss or something, then make sure you have a system of spell checking, right? So that it's not every day, you're not worrying about the same things every single day. If you're worrying about the same things every single day, then you're not learning, you're not growing, right? So you have your systems. Another way you can deal with this is also checklist. There's a book called Thinking Fast and Slow, and they talk about the effectiveness of checklists, even more than expertise. If you have a checklist, and versus expertise, sometimes the checklist wins, right? So for example, nurses, when a baby is born, they have a checklist. They're like, okay, how is the baby's color? Do they have 10 fingers, 10 toes? How is their breathing? Are they crying correctly? They have a checklist. And that reduced the amount of infant deaths by a lot. So I'm a lawyer. I always have my checklist, my drafting checklist. So that after I draft a document, I check, is the date there? Is it the correct court? Is it the correct title? Am I sending the email to the correct client? I go through the checklist. And that removes the worry of, have I made a typo? Have I put the correct court? Have I checked the correct laws? It removes a lot of the pressure. So have a checklist. There's two ways you can deal with that. Now, the third tip, which is one of the most powerful things you can do, it's going to be a mindset shift. And the mindset is that failure does not exist. It doesn't. If you're a high achieving person, failure doesn't exist. What do I mean? Because you either learn or you succeed, okay? Like the guy who made the bulb, he failed all those times, like, I don't know, 1,000 times before he made the bulb. 1,000 times to him, it wasn't a failure. He said, I just found 1,000 ways that don't work. He learned something. So as long as you're learning something, you'll never fail. If you make a mistake and you learn something from it, you benefited, so you didn't fail. Even the things that hurt you the most can be a life lesson that leads you to your highest ever performance. For example, me, when I didn't graduate the same year as my peers, for me, that was rock bottom, and it was enough for me to become one of like to learn all my study tips, all my study lessons. I learned it then and there, how to do school, because I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed by that thing. So that thing that wasn't a low for me became the best lesson I've ever heard. And a lot of people say this, when they hit rock bottom, there's only up to go, right? So you can never fail. Okay, so the phrase is this, and write this in your journal. Make it an affirmation, make it part of your daily language, that it's not failure, it's feedback. Failure doesn't exist for me. If you make this one of your core beliefs, then that thing that, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fail, oh my gosh, I made a mistake, is gonna go away. Because even if you do make a mistake, you realize that it's just gonna be beneficial to you because you're gonna learn something from it. Do you get it? I hope you do, because when I got this, things changed for me. I hope that helped you, and I hope you put everything that I've said into practice, because if you do, your life is gonna change. Achieving has never been so simple. And now, if you're still watching, here's a special tip. The special tip is, actually, I'm gonna give you two. The first tip is stay in the present moment. Stay in the present moment, okay? Because that's where the point of power is. There's a book called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, and they say live in daytight compartments. Every spiritual book, anything that you're gonna search on the internet about spiritual work and everything is gonna tell you this, to stay in the present moment. Not living in your past, not worrying about the future, just staying in the present moment. Once you learn to do that, a lot of your stress is gone, because what can the past me, what am I worrying about? It doesn't exist to me. I'm just here, I'm doing now, I'm in a flow state. So when I do one thing at a time, doing my task, doing my assignment, I don't have time to worry about if I'm doing it correctly. I have my systems in place, so I can stay in the present moment. And then the other tip is this: delegation. You can delegate anything. You can delegate anything. So if you find a task that you don't like to do, it's a good thing that you don't like to do it, because you can delegate it, okay? Get used to delegation. The 4-hour work week is about this, guys. You can delegate anything. There's a story a TED Talk guy was talking about. He said that he was raised by a single mom. So one day he told his mom, I want a dad. And the mom was like, okay, well, go find one. And because he was a kid, he took it seriously. So at his karate club, he had this one teacher, and he was like, oh my gosh, this guy would be perfect for my mom, and he's single. So because of him, the two met. And long story short, the mom got married to the karate dude, and they've been married ever since, and that was his stepdad. So the point of the story is that you can delegate anything, and I found this to be true. Hope you loved that and learned something, and check out the link in the description for the affirmation manifestation journal, 100 days to shift your mindset and change your life. So bye.